And we are live.
Great, we're live. Hi, everybody. It's Derek Rowe from the Rowe Method and myself here. We are going to have a really great discussion and masterclass in how to use opportunities or how to create opportunities during adversity and create that winning mindset. So we're always, just looking at what's kind of showing up, on a bigger level with people that we are reaching out to and having conversations with, and some of our own clients. And we thought that this would be a really great discussion for today. And remember, these calls are complimentary. So please give us a thumbs up or maybe a heart. I love hearts. And tag a friend, because again, there is no cost. This is for you. And maybe there's somebody who you know who is actually going through a tough time and could use a little bit of support and some mindset principles and practices to actually take action. And action is the most important part of this. I mean, I work with universal laws, and it is really important if you want to manifest better results, if you want to create better results. Action is key, because you can think about it, you can talk about it, but if you don't take action, nothing is going to change. So you got to take action. So let's dive into this. And again, for those of you that are watching live, pull out your pad of paper and write down notes, and even post in the chat to really, integrate that into your nervous system and your mind, and just affirm some of the things that we're going to discuss. Okay. So Derek, why don't we start off with some of the thoughts that you have around this, and then I'll share some of my thoughts, and we can have this great discussion as usual.
As usual. Yes. Happy to be on. Hello, everybody. And thank you for having me on, Tara. So, and what Tara said, yes, leave a comment, but I think what's more valuable if we can open up a bit of a discussion in the comments, Tara, as in, I know there's loads of people who have questions, but they feel, I don't know, something holds them back. And Tara did say, this is about taking action. So if you are someone who looks at these, because I know there's a lot of people look at them without taking action, take the action and just ask a question. And listen, we're happy to open up a discussion, because that's where it's at. Plus, it is complimentary, and plus there's a lot of value in these. So, give it a share. You don't have to, there is no cost to it, but if you feel there is, maybe it's not you, but it is someone else who will get some benefit and value out of this, a share is always good. So I certainly invite you to do that. Listen, adversity is part of life, Tara. It's as simple as that. I had said to you earlier on, I actually go through quite a bit of adversity on a week to week, and especially in the last 10 days. So this is real life, like for us. It's not something we go, oh, we'll just talk about this topic. We talk about real life, because it is about it's real life, real people, real results, or real results for real people from looking at this, should I say. And, the thing is this, when adversity comes, it's easy for us, and it's easy to say the words take action. And I understand, I have a deep understanding of this, because the last fucking thing we want to do when we don't feel like it is take action. Because what happens when a challenge or adversity comes, it lowers our state, which, listen, our state is our mood. But how do we lift our mood? Even though it's very hard to see, it's by taking the right actions. It's not taking, I think we talked about this last week, Tara, being consistent. You can be consistent in doing bullshit. It gets you nowhere, but it's being consistent doing the right things. And the more adversity and challenges you overcome, the stronger you do get. So when it happens, because it will happen, it's right. It's being aware, that's great. But it's actually what's the right step forward in that moment. And it is taking an action. And lads, that could be quite simply, it could be going for a walk outside. I'm not saying it has to be something huge, but that is enough to lift your energy. It could be, if you had 5 minutes, it could be 20 press-ups. Or it could be going, you know what, I'm procrastinating here, I need to do something. Might it be do a bit of writing? I don't know, something to do with your business, something to do with your life, whether you want to call somebody. There's numerous things you can do. And I'm pretty sure you're aware, when we've all heard, and I've always had this conversation with people, oh, So I wasn't in the humor going to the gym, and my God, I'm so happy I went. This is what I mean. You're so happy when you went. So it's doing more of those actions, because adversity, listen, if you don't get used to challenge and used to failure and used to adversity, it's always going to be stop start. And again, we talked about this last week. Imagine where you'd be if you stop stopping. So instead of this stop start, it's like, okay, just face into the challenge. And when you face into the challenge, may not work out as you want, but I will tell you, Tara said it a lot of times, and I like watching how she phrases things. There's always a seed of opportunity, the seed of opportunity with every failure and challenge. And adversity is pretty much all of them rolled into one. And I've, again, I faced a hell of a lot in the last week, and I'll give you an example today, because again, it's real life for me. I didn't feel like doing anything. I collected my son. I was, like, for fuck's sake. I was meant to be actually on Tara's masterclass, and Leon's grandmother was sick, so I had to go and collect him. So it sort of knocked me off, and my energy got a bit low. And I said, no. I said, right, I have a call coming up in an hour. I'll have to raise my mood. So I went and I did a bit of exercise. So that was this is an example of taking the right action in that moment. Because if you don't take the right action in that moment, that low feeling will just fester, and it'll just get stronger and stronger. And it's then easy. Do you know what? I'm just not going to do anything. And you convince yourself, this is where the self-talk comes in, the bullshit comes in. And you know what? I'll do it tomorrow, and I'll just watch Netflix for the night. Pretty sure most of you have been there. And do you wake up in a better state tomorrow? No, you don't. So it's better get your state right now. Face the challenge, i.e. the adversity, by taking more of the right actions.
Yeah, so I love everything that you're sharing. I'm going to share a little bit around kind of mindset and how that works. Okay, because really, if you're in that place of going through adversity and challenges, and we know on some level everybody's going to go through it, you might be in the thick of it right now. It is so important that you understand your mind, and also understanding that, first of all, there's always something good to be found, even in a really shitty situation. You just have to look for it. Okay. And as many of you know, I teach the laws. And when you understand that there's a law of opposites, right? The law of opposites, there's a law of polarity. When things are really bad, there's really good. And if you look back honestly in your life through those really tough times that you went through, because of course you have grown, hopefully your awareness is much better, and you to some level, right? You could look back and you can probably find the good in that situation, the blessing. I always think everything is a lesson or a blessing. So it's important that you understand that there is this law of opposites. And again, what you focus on is going to grow. So the adversity helps us grow, right? If we didn't have challenges and adversity, how would we grow? I mean, it's so important. You've probably heard that saying or that quote, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. You might want to put that in the chat, because it's so important. Challenges do help us grow. We get uncomfortable. Most people, the masses, the way we're programmed is to stay in comfort and complacency. This is lack, limitation, poverty mindset. It just doesn't work, guys. All you have to do is take a look at when you were stuck in that place. You just get more of the same thing. So it's important for you to understand your mind. Now, first of all, the energy that is flowing to and through you, it is neutral. It's not positive. It's not negative, right? It comes in through your conscious mind. You have the ability to think. The unfortunate thing here is most of us were not programmed how to think and are not thinking, because thinking, you need to use your higher mental faculties. Now that energy is neutral. You're going to either make it bad or you're going to make it good. Now, what happens is as you impress that, is it goes into the subconscious mind. It goes out to the universe as well. Your thoughts are things. So when you have a thought around the challenges you're going through or the adversities, that thought goes out, but it also gets impressed on your subjective mind. And what happens is the subjective mind is the feeling part of your mind. So the thought actually causes a feeling. Now, what happens is that feeling gets impressed on the body, right? It still goes out, of course, because that's law of vibration, but it also gets impressed on your body. And it's just the conscious vibration of what you're thinking. The body is the instrument to the mind. Now, I know some of you are going to feel like your head was just ripped off and it's swinging. So you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to listen to this again. And you're going to have to write those notes, because for many of you, this is going to be new information, but it's important. The body is just showing you the vibration that you're living in, right? So if you don't feel good, you're emotionally involved in a bad idea. When you feel good, you're emotionally involved in a good idea. So this is where it's really important for you to understand that during adversity, during tough times, when you're being challenged, right, in your life, that you take a real honest look at what you're thinking. And what I would encourage here is a 3-step process, which is really around attitude. Because the people on this planet that win, they get better results during adversity, during tough times. They have a great attitude. They're calm, they're confident, they're looking for the good. This is attitude. And there's a 3-step process in attitude. The first step is, what are you thinking? Remember, the thought impresses on the conscious, right? That's where you have the ability to give that neutral energy, positive or negative. You, even in a tough situation, you can make it positive. Now, what happens is, again, it becomes part of the subjective mind, your subconscious, that's feeling, right? By the way, that moves the poles in your body. If you're emotionally involved in a negative idea, that moves the cells in your body to a negative pole. That's why I say it's an attraction vibration universe. Anything that is at that negative level is going to be attracted to you. So that's why you feel like a shit magnet, because you keep attracting more of the crappy stuff at that level. So you have to be mindful. This is where success and failure is on you. So you want to, again, number one, you want to get your thoughts aligned with what you want. You want to get your attitude right, right? It's the thoughts. Second, the thoughts cause the feelings. Right? Feeling is just showing you what you're emotionally involved in. And then the third step here is exactly what Derek's talking about, is action, right? The thought causes the feeling causes the action, and the action actually causes a reaction. That's the results you're getting in your life. So all you have to do, if you had a little barometer here and you were to take an honest look at your results, is just ask yourself, am I getting the results that I want? Am I getting the results that I want in my finances, in my relationship, in my body, in my health? That's Derek's expertise, right? Like, you just have to take an honest look at that area. If you're not getting the results that you want, you know, you have a shitty attitude, and you've got to shift that. You've got to, again, that 3-step process. You got to get your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions aligned with what you want. This is the secret here. It is having a positive attitude. Having a positive attitude, a winning attitude, is what's going to set you apart from those that are failing and those that are winning, because it's going to activate the cells in your body to a positive pole. And when your cells are activated to that positive pole, then you can only attract everything at that level. Remember, energy that's coming in and through you is neutral. You make it positive or negative. So this is where having that winning attitude is absolutely essential. Back to you, Derek.
Yes. Listen and apply, people, please. Do yourself a favor. It's funny because I was talking to a client about this, a little different twist I'm going to throw on it, but it's the same outcome. Again, like what you said, Tara, people have the thought. And okay, we'll start with this. If you're somebody who batters themselves with the same negativity over and over, that's what you expect. Again, it comes back to focus. So where your focus determines your results, because you're putting the energy into it. So your results will be determined by that. So it's more negativity. Now, what Tara then said was, someone has a thought. So if it was a positive thought, it's going to give you a positive reaction. So that's a higher vibration, a higher energy, a better state. But why we do these masterclasses, because we know a lot of people don't know this stuff. And what happens for some of you, you have the thought, you touch the feeling, then you're down the rabbit hole of, we will say, negativity. Because lads, we're not here, yeah, we talk a lot of positivity, but there has to be an action steps to this, because this thing of just think positively doesn't work. You've got to, like Tara's given you a 3-step process. when you look at this again and possibly look at it the second or third time each and every week, you will have an array of tools to use. And it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple when you're just doing, like the gym, you're putting the reps into it. Now, what I was saying to my client was this: what she had been doing, and again, language is going to be important because we've got to put that shit in the past, right? If you're battering yourself with this, and what I mean, sorry, just negativity, thoughts, self-talk, all of this, what your brain requires, it's like a TV, Tyra. So it's like, you know, the contrast on a TV. It needs the opposite of that. So better self-talk, better thought process. Yes, a bit of removal here. So like at the end of the day, it does start with awareness, but you know, the work, well, the work instills the work, really, doesn't it, Tara? So like by doing the work on a consistent basis, by following step 1, step 2, step 3. And no, listen, it's going to take time. It's like, again, it's easy to use the gym analogy. You're not going to go to the gym. If you're someone who hasn't been in the gym, even you go for a month, you might not notice a noticeable result. Even 2 months. It takes some people, like from my experience, it takes some people 3 or 4 months to get their desire to get on that road. And what happens, a lot of people before they get on that road, they just say it doesn't work, so they give up. Whereas actually they're very close to a breakthrough. So this is where the attitude comes in. And it's adjusting your attitude to what you want. And again, this goes back to everything we've said up to now. If you don't know what you want, how do you know? You can't adjust anything, because then it's just airy fairy bullshit in your head. Oh, I want this. It's like going, I just want to be in great shape. Well, what shape is that? Like what does that look like? I don't know, what size clothes, how big your muscles going to be. I don't give a shit, whatever it is for you. And that's what Tara is saying about attitude. So it's always, when shit hits the fan or when shit comes up, it's right. Can you adjust your attitude to suit that situation, to bring you up to, we will say, and Tara is an expert at this, the connecting to infinite intelligence, really, Tara, isn't it? Connecting to that energy where everything is in flow, but also knowing you're putting the reps in on a daily basis and you're not expecting a return, but eventually you will get a return on investment. Like if you, I know you go to the bank and you get your interest, you know, it's probably not a great analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Where are you putting your time? Where are you putting your investment to get the best back from yourself? So following the 3-step process, Tara said, while also thinking about it like this: if you're not getting what you want and you're constantly in that lower state, lower vibration, think of it like the TV that you can change. You can change the contrast, you can change the channel at any time, because you've got to start giving your brain what it needs. And think about it like it's manicuring your brain, because like your muscle, what does your muscle need? Your muscle needs reps. It's not going to happen 1 or 2 reps. It needs millions of reps to grow muscle, millions of reps to burn fat. The same for your brain, because how many years have people taught or fed themselves shitty thoughts, talk down to themselves? It's not going to be magic, but when you start applying this information on a day-to-day basis, eventually opportunity opens up. So when adversity does come, what you've done, you can look back and go, well, actually, from my experience, I've overcome a lot of adversity, so I'm pretty sure I can overcome this.
Yeah. And I think something that, you know, I'm being nudged to share around what Derek is talking about is that, like, the good side of bad times, because, you know, we're all going to experience those bad times, but the good side of bad times is that you're forced to be creative. You're forced to use your higher mental faculties. You're forced to start thinking. And, you know, this makes me think, and I brought this up before around, you know, there's many times on this planet where we see that there's been a lot of adversity, like on a bigger level, where everyone was affected. We just went through this. I love in Think and Grow Rich how Napoleon Hill talks about the 10-year drought. It's just something that I always, whenever I'm going through adversity, you know, you see that the people at that time, I mean, they could barely put coal, they could barely afford coal to put in their stoves. They could barely put food on the table. So what we've just been through is not quite that bad. But when you think about that, it forced the people at the time to be creative. We are being forced to be creative. This is when you see better ways of doing things, right? operating better in business, maybe taking an honest look at your body and going, wow, I got to do something or I'm not going to be around for very much longer, right? There is the opportunity, better, like books are being written. This is what happens. We're forced to be creative. And having a positive attitude during adversity, when things are tough, and looking for the good in that situation. Again, remember, attitude, it's a compilation of your thoughts, your feelings, and the actions you're taking. When you take having a good attitude and creativity, this is going to move you towards, again, the results that you do want. You're going to win. This is leadership. But unfortunately, and here's the catch, guys. This is the big catch, is that you've got to choose. You've got to choose to have a good attitude. You've got to choose to be more creative and look at other ways of doing things. Now, when you're in the thick of it, and if you think of, and I did a live in my private group page yesterday around this, if you think of like in the past, and I would just encourage you to do this right now, think of a really tough time you went through, and maybe the results were not what you wanted. It could have been a really bad breakup. It could have been an investment you made, whatever it was, and there was a lot of reactivity. You didn't handle it well. You weren't thinking. You definitely did not have a positive attitude. You were not being creative. Now, with some perspective, because you've already gone through that, but if you were to just take a moment and go back to that situation, again, it could have been the way you reacted to something. Derek and I have been talking a lot about this, right? If you were to go back and just take some time and really think about it, see the opportunity in it, apply again the 3 steps, the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions. And, just to look at like, how could I have maybe handled that better? How could I have taken a positive attitude and been more creative so that the results would have been better? Right. And if you did this, like right now, I know that you're going to be able to come up with, because you're thinking, you're going to be able to come up with a couple creative ideas and ways that you could have handled it better. Maybe you could have been calmer. Maybe you would have been more confident. Maybe you could have stepped away from the situation, right? So I want you to take some time and do this, because this is key here, right? This is absolutely key. And this is the catch, is that you must choose. You must choose during adversity. You must choose during those tough times to have that positive attitude and to be more creative and to start thinking. This is the key here. And that's the great thing, is we all got a choice, all of us. So, you're going to have to, if you want to get better results, you're going to have to just do something about it. And if you do, things are going to get better. I can promise you, because it's by law. Think of the law of opposites, again, the law of polarity. When things are really bad, and there's a lot of science behind this. This isn't woo-woo, okay? When things are really bad, by the way, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good coming. Just like if you felt really bad for a long time, the great news, I was listening to Dr. Huberman, Andrew Huberman, my favorite neuroscientist, yesterday, and he reminds us this, even the way the brain works. If you've experienced a lot of, let's say, depression, anxiety, and you've been in a crap space, well, actually, you have the ability to come back and feel so much more good after that. Okay. So again, you got to do the work. This is the action part.
Exactly. And another way, your 3 steps, how I would have learned from a previous mentor: state, which is feeling, then you structure, and content, which is the output, really. And at the end of the day, it is a choice, because we all have a choice. The choice to do nothing about our circumstances, or the choice to actually, like Tara said, start to promote better thinking. And how do you promote better thinking? By thinking, by actually getting calm, getting a space, getting calm, closing your eyes, right? What is it you want? Because pretty sure, this is what I'm talking about, state. And it's a feeling, what Tara said. And it's like, how can you get yourself in a good feeling when you can, there has been times in the past when you felt good, when you felt confident, when you felt powerful, when you felt energetic. Also the same goes for sad, maybe feelings of depression, feelings of anxiety, but it's choosing the more positive one. And that can be your driver in the present, knowing, hey, do you know what? I have these experiences already, so I can make more of these experiences. But it is when, because this training is about adversity. So when adversity does strike, because sometimes it happens on a daily basis, sometimes very small, and then maybe all of a sudden something big can happen. But universal law, exactly. There's always an opportunity in every adversity and every failure. But what does it require? It requires you to think about it. It requires you to get out of your way, because listen, if you look at most people, they're just going around like fucking zombies. They're going around, oh, life is shit, and this and that, negativity, and nothing ever changes. If you look at somebody, the way they talk, it's the same chatter that comes out of them most of the time. And I'm talking about negative people, and it's no fault of their own. It's just the way they've been programmed. And to dissolve, release that program, what does it require? It requires a 360, like I said, with the contrast. Now, Tara has given you some great points. I feel I've given you some great points, but that's all they are now. You're only aware now. It's actually time to go, right, hey, do I need to look back on this and take some notes? And it's when you apply them, because, you know, if it's just an idea in your head without application, it means nothing. But when you start applying it, and it's not going to be magic, it's the continuation, you know, continually putting the reps in. It's the easiest way to say it, is continually putting the reps in. You eventually start to see traction. You start to build momentum, and momentum is the currency that is going to continuously propel you forward, because you remember a time when you've had momentum, you felt confident. It's like, fuck, I feel unstoppable here. I feel good. So you've had that, maybe in large amounts, maybe in small amounts, but we've all had all these feelings banked, and it's time to activate better feelings, bring them into the present to get us over this adversity. But again, it comes back to step 3. Without action, nothing will happen. So there's always checking in with your feelings. And again, Tara, it's just tying back in with exactly with your points, because it's the same thing. Checking in with your feelings, right? You like the feeling. If you don't like it, you got to change the feeling. What has to happen then, right? Where are you going? So you know where you're going, and then it's putting the outputs behind it, i.e. your outputs are the action. And not only that, it's actually, if you listen to how you talk sometimes, and I have to catch myself doing this. I'm no angel or perfectionist by any means. And I know Tara is the same. It's if there's negativity coming out of your mouth, it's what you're thinking. Simple as that. That's what I mean by your outputs. So start being aware of your self-talk, adjusting that. Your outputs will be different, and then your actions and behaviors will change from there.
Yeah. And, you know, we recognize that some of you that are showing up, maybe you're in a place where you're like so stuck. And I mean, we've been there. That's why, you know, we're offering these masterclasses. And if it wasn't for the incredible awareness and education and mentorship that we received during those really tough times, because I get it. I mean, sometimes, well, first of all, we're just a product of our habits and the way that we've been programmed, but sometimes you need somebody to kick you in the ass. And most often that's the case, or that's going to support you in getting on the right track. So leave your comments, you know, or personally reach out to us if you're just feeling like this is landing, but you really don't know what to do and you don't know what the next steps are. I mean, Derek and I are here really to serve. And by the way, there's no better time to serve than right now on this planet. So we want to be serving. And I can tell you that this is what separates those that are leading in their lives, in their health, in their wealth, and in their happiness, is that this positive mental attitude. Again, aligning those 3 things: your thinking, your feeling with the action. Again, this is all science. There's a lot of science behind how this works. And when you choose a positive attitude, you're going to continue to win. Everything's going to continue to get better. But this is the tough thing at first, is because you're not programmed that way. And the habits are really strong, the behaviors, the conditioning, the poor self-image. I mean, the story you keep telling your friends, I mean, it's going to try to take you out. That's why we need others that are stronger, that can support us. So please leave your comments, reach out. We've been there. You know, if we can do it, you can do it. And it does get better, and it gets better and better and better. So we're inviting you in on this journey. If you do what you need to do, we promise you 100% guaranteed things are going to get better. Okay. So thanks for being here today. I hope you wrote a lot of notes. Thanks for your thumbs up and your hearts. Again, we see that there's a lot of people seeing these masterclasses, and we want you to not just be a spectator. We want you to be a participator, because this is where things start to change. It's like you're declaring, this is my law. I am ready. This is a new year, clean slate. So take action and have fun. I mean, if you're not having fun, what's the use? So thanks for being here, and we will see you next Thursday at the same time. We will be going live on Derek's page. So if you want to ask Derek for a friend request, and if it's vibrationally aligned, he will accept it. And we will see you on his page next week. Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye, bye, bye.